Hello and welcome to the morning after show presented by Underdog Fantasy Sports. My name is Joshua Reimer. I am joined by none other than Jared Block, who is over on my right. Jared, how are we doing this fine Wednesday morning?
It's a nice day, man. Good weather out here. It's finally June, and yeah, we're excited to talk some sports. We have a plethora of things to talk about, and might as well take advantage of it while we still can.
Yeah, exactly. We have, like you said, a plethora of things to talk about. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Let's start off like we always do, starting out with hockey. And we had an interesting game last night. Usually don't think of a score of 8-6 when you think about hockey, but that's what we got last night. It looked more like an MLB score at the end of the day. But Avalanche end up winning against the Oilers 8-6, like I said. Crazy game, man. I saw the score. I saw it at like 7-3, and I thought, oh, that's pretty high. And that was like at the beginning of the third quarter, I think, or third period. And then things really started to pop off even more in that third period. So it was certainly an insane thing to see this big of a score in the first game in June.
Yeah, I was out to dinner with a few friends, and we were watching this game, and every single time that we turned around, there'd be a goal scored. The first period was insane, and I can't believe that they even let some of their goalies stay in as long as they did. There was a goalie change at the 13-minute mark of the second period, so that tells you all you need to know about that. And I don't think that we can continue to keep up with these big of scores, but it was insane to see it. The Avalanche did not look like they had missed a beat whatsoever, and that was a little bit worrisome coming in just because they had so much time off, but they definitely didn't have that. 14 goals for a playoff game is insane. The over under was like 7, which hit in the first period.
Yeah, that is insane. We'll have to see if that scoring keeps up tonight, as we have the Tampa Bay Lightning facing off against the Rangers. Lightning 130 favorites, even though they are on the road. Over under here at 5.5. So if you think the scoring is going to transfer over to this game, you should probably bet that over. But it'll be exciting to see how this Lightning team does, and if the Rangers can live up to the hype that they've created after winning against the Canes. All right, Jared. Anything else here in the NHL? If not, let's talk about some NBA news.
No, let's continue to talk about NBA. Not much going on. We still have one more day until the finals, but we'll start to see a bunch of social media and TV coverage today specifically.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. But there is some new stuff to talk about with the NBA. Joel Embiid got surgery on that thumb to repair the UCL tear. He will be ready for camp. We got the news that Hero wants to be a starter. I don't know if you saw the exact quote, but he said, "It's my
No.
fourth year in the league. It's about time." And I was just like, "Oh, geez,
Oh no.
that'll be certainly interesting to see if he gets
Yeah,
that start." He's
that's
not
an
really
arrogant
that
move,
guy.
my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an arrogant move. On a team filled with guys that you have that team with, I don't know. Very interesting. We found out that Snyder could be moving on from the Jazz after 8 seasons, which I think should happen. I think the Jazz need to move on from Snyder if they're smart. We have found out that Curry is favored to win the Finals MVP as well, Jared.
Yes, we have. He has not won a Finals MVP. I think everybody knows that. So a Warriors victory will all but seal that for him, and probably like the one thing that he doesn't have, and he is never going to win DPOY or anything like that. So the one move that he can't really have yet is this, and I think that the Warriors are hungry. Now I know that the Celtics haven't been back here in quite some time. I think 2010 was the last time they were back here, but I think that the Golden State Warriors are just on a different kind of hungrier level. People doubted them for 2 seasons, and you can account that all to injury. Like you can't say that it was a bad team coming into the season. It's just injuries that kept them out for the last 2 years. So imagine if they were to make the finals again, because this was a team that made the finals. What, 8 straight years? Was that right? No, six, something like that. So I don't know. I saw a graphic that compared the games in the finals experience to from both teams, and it was like 128 to 0. So
Oh,
that's where
geez.
we're at.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane. It'll be exciting, man. I'm thrilled for this finals matchup. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be competitive all the way through, and I'm excited. All right. Anything else with the NBA news, Jared? If not, let's talk about some fun NFL news. We got a good chunk of NFL stuff yesterday.
No, let's continue to talk about the NFL. We are, we say that there is not a lot of news over the summer, but we're gonna get tons of NFL stuff moving forward. Never fails to surprise.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest piece of news that we got, which was kind of yesterday, kind of today, or kind of yesterday, kind of the day before, was the Aaron Donald news. He said that he is at peace with his career if he never gets another deal. Said that he planned on playing 8 years in the NFL, which last year was the eighth year. But winning a championship, he said he was reinvigorated. Said he might come back, but he's fine not coming back as well. So this is big news. If he doesn't come back, that's a huge hole in that offense, and that's a huge piece to be missing from the NFL, as he is one of the top defensive players, or the top defensive player in the NFL.
This, I wouldn't be shocked if this kind of feels like a Barry Sanders type of situation where you're at the top of your game. And obviously, I think that Donald's probably more, he has the more accolades in terms of like the hardware type of thing after the Super Bowl. But I wouldn't be surprised if he were to just kind of walk away. With social media these days, though, you're not going to get that sudden of an announcement. Usually, you hear these things coming in unless you're Tom Brady, of course. But I do think that Aaron Donald, like, if he doesn't, I think he still loves the game, obviously, and that's probably why he comes back for the next couple seasons. But I don't know. I don't think I would necessarily expect the Rams to. I mean, I'm sure they've had conversations about it, and maybe he's like, "Sure, I'll take a little bit less money to stay for a couple more years, and we'll kind of play this thing year by year." But I wouldn't be shocked if he were to leave uh, and kind of like save his health and move on with his life.
Yes, definitely. It wouldn't surprise me if he did decide to move on, but we'll have to see what happens there. That'll be something to keep up with. If a deal does get done, what do you think it looks like money wise? Because I heard someone say 4 years, 120 mil for the 4 years. That's the highest ever paid defensive player. Those are huge numbers. You're getting paid like a quarterback at that point, essentially. Um, I don't know if it's going to be that long from what I've seen, just because it does seem like he's pretty ready to leave pretty soon. But like maybe 2 years, 60 million, or could you do you think it could reach those types of levels?
Absolutely. I don't know how they're going to pay for it, but they definitely can. Maybe they need the Olympics to be able to afford that, which definitely could happen because it happens in 2 years.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm just trying to look here and see. Like, obviously, he's already a Hall of Fame player, and he should be paid like one. So, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. And you use that extra Super Bowl revenue to try to get yourself there. Rams are going to have a hard time trying to repeat, I think, and I think that they we'll just need to figure out what they want to do priority wise, and maybe that is taking into account like you're still paying Stafford an insane amount of money, and you just have a lot of guys that you need to pay on both ends. So they went all in last year, worked out for them. Now I feel like there's potentially a little bit of a pullback that we'll see long term, and like Donald has nothing left to prove outside of just trying to get to those biggest records because he already has some of them, but uh, trying to get to the biggest records is kind of like the last thing that he needs to do. So going back to that point, it's like, okay, if his heart's not in it anymore, then it is what it is. But he would need to play probably another 5, 6 seasons to actually like be the best defensive lineman of all time, which he's actually kind of in the conversation of right now.
yeah, I would agree. He is kind of in that conversation, so we'll have to see if it ends up working out for him. But I think I don't know. I think he's close. I think that it should be interesting to see what happens with him. It would be sad to see him leave because they can't agree with something with the Rams. At least get him a 1 year contract to come back. But I don't know. Like you said, it's going to be pretty hard to pay for it. All right. Bucks reach a deal with defensive tackle Akeem Hicks. This adds to a Bucks defensive front that was already pretty damn elite. And now is this the best? I mean, it was the best run defense in the league last year. Is it even better than it was last year now?
Yeah, you thought you could run on him last year, and you couldn't, and now you can't again. So the one thing that I always worry about with this player specifically is that yes, he's game changing when it comes to this, especially alongside Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. It's like this is literally like a monstrous defensive line. They should be able to do whatever they want, but injuries is going to be the main thing to look out for. So Hicks is 32. He signed a 1 year deal. This is definitely a move that I expect the Tampa Bay Bucks to make. Getting a veteran guy that they know can bolster the defensive side of the ball for really cheap to their standards is fantastic. So I do think that it's going to propel them to potentially having again the number one defensive line run stopping defense in the league.
Yeah, should be interesting. I don't know if or well, let's move on to this next piece. The fact that Daryl Williams heads over to Arizona for a 1 year deal. I don't know if you saw, but supposedly Patrick Williams kind of helped out Arizona in saying all these nice things about him. Patrick Mahomes vouched for Williams, informing Arizona that he was a back he both liked and trusted. DW had a great season with over 1,000 scrimmage yards, 8 touchdowns, and 191 touches. Patrick Mahomes vouching for Williams like that and it being public knowledge is pretty interesting in my eyes, and kind of lets Daryl Williams kind of slide into that Chase Edmonds role almost with Arizona now.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting to dissect because I think it's a lot bigger than people would realize than just seeing the headline on paper. So the Chiefs now really don't have the I don't know. This is going to be probably controversial, but they don't have the tough the guy that they can trust and lean on to depend on. And a lot of people would say inside the organization that CEH is that guy, but he just has not proven that yet. You also have a guy in Jerick McKinnon who flashed when CEH was out when they were trying to make that playoff run late in the season. Uh, he's also injury prone. You have Derek Gore also in that backfield, who also had an impressive year when both those guys were out or given the opportunity. But they're all either young players or they're injury prone. And I know Williams was banged up himself, but he was just that veteran back that Mahomes could always rely on. He was the best pass catching back as well as the best blocking back. So I worry about that. So we'll see how that actually turns out for the Chiefs. And this is CEH's year to prove it. And if he can't, then he will find himself on the bench for Derek Gore.
Hey, you're forgetting about the best running back there, Ronald frickin' Jones. Ronald Jones is going to be RB1 week
You're
8.
right. I mean, I don't know. We'll see about that. But he can't pass block either. So who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, let's keep moving. Kai's telling me to hush, so I will move on. Found out yesterday that Jerry Judy charges were dismissed. I've kind of went into the altercation, talked about it a little bit. This is the right move to dismiss these charges, and good for him because now he gets to go through training camp and he doesn't have to deal with all this.
Yep. Very nice for Broncos PR stuff, team chemistry, all that kind of thing. And it would be kind of something that Judy had over his head for the entire offseason. So hopefully he's able to move past that and there's nothing else that comes around for this one. So I still believe that Cortland Sutton is the guy this year, but I think that Judy and him can be supported by Russell Wilson. I'm very interested to see what this Broncos offense looks like and how they're going to uh, take that next step with like, are they actually going to be a prolific offense, or is the defense good enough? Is kind of like a balanced attack. We'll see.
Yeah, should be very interesting. We did also find out on the other spectrum of that type of news, Watson faces his 23rd lawsuit, which just got filed yesterday. We still haven't heard anything from the league or anyone about what is going to happen with Watson's beginning of his season, but I don't know. I feel like you need that news sooner rather than later at this point.
I think that we will get a message stating that they won't give a number of games of suspension, but I do think that it's going to be a situation where they'll say he's out indefinitely until we can figure this out. And if I'm the Browns, like this is what you should be expecting, right? You didn't sign him for this year, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. That you didn't sign him for this year, you signed him for the next year, and we're just probably going to have to wait on those suspensions to see what exactly they are. All right, the match. It's on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rogers and Brady versus Allen and Mahomes. Rogers and Brady are the favorites right now, which I don't know. Do you think that's interesting?
No, they're the better golfing duo for sure.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to watch for sure. I know I'm excited for the match. I know a lot of people are. It's always fun to watch. So
I mean, do
that
we
will.
know if Josh Allen's good at golf?
I don't think
I,
we do know if Josh Allen is
he,
good at
he,
golf.
he feels like a Bryson DeChambeau to me, like
Oh
just
no.
crushing balls. We'll see. I don't know, but Rogers, Brady are clearly the favorites, and they should be.
Yes, I agree with that. All right. Anything else with NFL news, Jared? If no, or actually, one other thing that we didn't get to cover yet. Did you see this Bucks wide receiver get cut due to his DUI?
No, I
They
did
were
not.
super quick with it. Travis Johnson, Johnson. I don't know how to say that. After his DUI arrest was cut instantly yesterday. Um, I don't think this was someone that was going to make the team. Most likely is what I'm
Oh,
guessing if he got cut like
it's
that.
not. It's not Tyler Johnson. It's a different guy.
No, it's not Tyler Johnson. It's someone else. He was an undrafted free agent out of Montana State. It spent the last 2 seasons on Tampa Bay's practice squad, earning a Super Bowl ring in 2020. He played in all 3 preseason games in 2021, catching 3 passes for 25 yards.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, he he refused a blood alcohol test upon his arrest and remains in
Oh,
jail
come
on a
on.
$500 bond as of Tuesday afternoon, per a news release. Faces possible suspension under the NFL's substance abuse policy after his arrest. You face a lot more than that because you're probably not going to get picked up by any other team now.
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. All right, let's move on and talk about the MLB, Jared, because it was certainly an interesting night of MLB stuff. Had 25 home runs hit yesterday. Rogers Clemens in the stands in Detroit for his son Cody Clemens' major league debut. First of the Clemens kids, there's 4 of them, Jared, in the MLB. Not all of them like in the majors, but lots of minor league guys, and this is the first one to come up. So we'll have to see when the other ones come up because that is just a baseball dynasty family right there. There's 4 kids in the
Yep.
MLB right now.
hmm I've seen a lot of things about uh, tons of former players, kids being in the league this year, and that's one of them. There's a lot of these guys in here. You can actually name. There's like this. The list just is very, very long. You can name like one player per team.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. There seems to be a lot of that. We're seeing that second generation come in, and it's been interesting. It's been fun to watch. All right. Also, a fantasy football dispute for the ages. So the whole Tommy Pham and Jock Peterson news gets even deeper because we found out that Mike Trout is the league commissioner. Oh my goodness, what a clusterfuck of a league. Tommy Pham said some comments about Trout yesterday, saying he's the worst fantasy football commissioner around, and I thought it was really funny, man. I don't know how much deeper does this go? Do you think?
Why do you got to do Mike Trout like that, man? Like, come on. You know that he's better than you. Maybe he's just salty that he's on a terrible team this year and he only has to rely on fantasy football. I wanted to bring this up yesterday and we can dive into a little bit more, but like, what do you think? How do you think that like a guy like Tommy Pham would react if his fantasy football team sucked and it's like September, like the day after week one was over, and he just like goes ahead and I think we're not going to see the end of this yet because I
Oh
do
no.
think that both like Jock and Mike Trout will probably be in the MLB playoffs, and Tommy Pham's going to start some more shit in the fall if that league is still around, which I think it should be. Otherwise, it wouldn't get nearly the attention it's getting. This is ridiculous at this point. Like who decided to just like bag on Mike Trout like this, and why did Trout even agree to be the commissioner for something like this?
That's my thing. Why is he the commissioner? One, two. Who else is in the league? Like it just feels like every day we're learning a new member of the league, and I just want to know everyone that's in that league now because we know it's Trout, we know it's Fam, we know it's Jock, we know that other Padres were involved. So is Manny Machado in this league? Is Cronenworth? Like I want to know everyone that's in this league now, and who knows? Whenever the Reds get to face off against the Angels, maybe we see some fireworks from Trout just because of that comment.
I wonder if
It's
we could find that league. It's a public league on ESPN,
That's
right?
true. That's a good point. Maybe we should do some deep dive research and come back and see if we can find anything and tell the people about it. I think that league is crazy, and to see the comments about Mike Trout absolutely blew me away yesterday. Certainly, I think, like you said, this is not the end of what we've heard about this league. I think we'll hear plenty more about it. So lots of fun stuff there. We found out yesterday that Wander Franco was added to the laundry list of Ray's injuries. Injured his quad, said he should be back in a couple weeks if he's feeling better. But those quad injuries usually aren't something that you can predict very easily. So I'm going to be curious to see whether he actually will be back in 2 weeks. And like you said, or like it says here, the Rays just continue to be injury prone this season.
Yeah, I mean Brandon Lau's out and for extended period of time, and now you have Wander Franco, who this is not the first time that he's hurt his quad. He was out for a lot of the season last year due to the same injury, so we'll see if he can return there.
Yep, for sure. All right, last but not least, to cap off the night last night, Pirates beat the Dodgers again, Jared. The Pirates are 4-1 against the Dodgers. And I don't know if you know this, but almost 75% of the games that they have played at home have been against teams that are under 500 so far this season. Ben Verlander put out a stat on Twitter yesterday talking about it. Kind of insane to see how many people or how many teams they faced off against that are below 500, and
Mm,
makes you question some things, man. Makes you think if they face off against some tough competition when coming into this second half, it could be a different scenario for this Dodgers team.
Kind of sounds like there's some collusion going on between the league and the scheduling system.
Maybe.
We'll see though. I mean, I don't know. They'll still be great. I don't doubt that, but they're 33 and 16, and you're telling me that over half of their teams that they've played are under 500. Sounds like that they're going to get some really bad variance over the next, last 3 months of the season.
Here we go. Of the Dodgers' first 48 games, 41 of them have been against. So this isn't just at home. This is just games overall. Of the Dodgers' first 48 games, 41 have been against teams under 500, with the majority being well under 500. They also finished the season with 6 consecutive home games against the Rockies. Great team, but a wild schedule, is what Ben Verlander
That
said. So credit to Verlander for that for the stats and stuff.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
I
insane. 41 out of 48 games. That is a lot of games to play against some subpar teams. So I don't know. Should be interesting to see if they what happens when they face some true tests, because I feel like they haven't got that test quite yet.
uh I always love seeing the payroll numbers after games like that and comparing. Now the
Yep.
Pirates have won 2 games in a row over a team that has probably a 15x payroll compared to them. That's crazy. I There was something else that I need to find that Anthony pointed out yesterday. I need to find it because it's 100% worth talking about. So you can move
Yep.
on to the next topic and I will get to it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, there there are no more topics. We were just about to move
Okay, I got it.
into.
It's okay.
Okay,
We're good.
perfect, awesome.
It was from yesterday or 2 days ago because the Red Sox didn't play the Reds. So apparently the Reds won at Fenway Park for the first time since October 22nd, 1975.
Oh wow, that's a long time ago. That's like 40 years. That's insane.
Well,
That
they don't play each other very much, right? They play them
yeah.
like maybe once every couple years, which is going to be crazy because you're going to see a lot of those things broken now in the next couple seasons. But that was a stat that jumped out to me, so I figured I'd bring it up here.
Yeah, definitely a stat that jumps out. That is absolutely insane. Good stat to know for sure. All right, Jared, let's get to our underdog days of spring. We are sponsored on this show by Underdog Fantasy Sports, and we greatly appreciate them. So to show our appreciation, we end up making a bet every day for them, and end up playing that bet over on Underdog. So, Jared, we don't have any ML or we don't have any NBA to focus on here, just MLB. What are you picking?
Yeah, so we're gonna actually go through and do a fairly big segment on the NBA version of this for Pick'ems tomorrow. But for MLB, we have some stuff all over the board today. We have cores, we have a lot of games all the way throughout, and I'm gonna go ahead and take something right away here at the very beginning of this one, and we're gonna go with Starling Marte over a half a run. This dude has been
Nice.
phenomenal in this series, and he's going to continue to do that today.
Yeah, I can buy into it. I like the call. Give me Jorge Soler over 1.5 total bases. The matchup against Senzatella is insane, and I think Soler absolutely dominates in this spot. So Jorge Soler, 1.5 total bases, book it. I like the pairing there. I think that's pretty solid.
I think so too. And I'm gonna go ahead and post that in our Discord if you guys want more underdog picks, prize picks, all that kind of stuff. We have you covered on in the Radar Sharp Edge area of our Discord. So head on over to discord.gg/Roto Radar for all those picks, and we provide a play of the day there as well for anything you guys want. We're not really esports guys, but the guys in there are. So you can basically bet whatever you want, and it's fast, quick payouts. And yeah, that's all. That's my little rant there. How did your Nerfies do yesterday?
3-1 yesterday. Only one that got blown was the one that I felt the best about was the Blue Jays and White Sox one with Gausman and Giolito, and Gausman allowed that first run homer. So that was disappointing, but still, we'll take 3-1 every day of the week. And we have part one and part two coming out today, so 2 parts, more plays just because of afternoon baseball and evening baseball. Make sure to keep an eye on my Twitter to find out about those Nerfy and Yurfy plays. Jared, any final thoughts before we get out of here, man?
Nope. Well, I guess yes. We are playing 3 different baseball slates today. First one locking in about 90 minutes. So we're playing all of them. If you want the actual announcement, head on over to our Discord and look at the announcements tab for all the MLB content news.
Yep, for sure. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.